It's hard to talk there, and half the room is Syrians already, so. Let me start by introducing myself. I'm Marcell Shehwaro. I used to be a dentist, and then I quit dentistry, and that's my best decision ever. I studied political science, and then I did MA in human rights. Yeah, another bad choices. I'm regretting a lot on education process. So I think that I'm an activist, and I think that I am a feminist, and I'm a blogger too, and that's it, hopefully. What I want to talk about is kind of put you in the scope of what we do, and why we do it, and how we do it, like it's that. We have a group on Facebook called Anti-Bisayij, ضد الحصار. We created it 5 days ago to discuss whether Aleppo is going to be sieged or not. Today at one of the staff called, they bombed the school in Kafarnaha and in Orem, the Russian airstrikes. He didn't need to say whom bombed it, because to us it's like, okay, now we are with the Russian. We don't know, like 2 months from now, whom is going to be up there, because it's kind of crowded up there right now. Everyone is like having an airplane, and like every teenager in the international community is like now driving his airplane above our skies. So the first feeling you have is like, oh my God, is it our schools? And then you feel how bad and awful you are, because even if it's not our school, it's someone's school, and there's kids in it. And then you ask the next question, is there kids in it? And they say, for sure, it's like 1 at noon, it's the time for them to be in the school. Then you are afraid to write someone injured, because you don't want to know the answer, because knowing the answer won't change anything. But anyway, Ismail, the one who is writing to us and sending us the pictures, he said, like, I pulled 5 from the area, and they are injured. And then I have to come speak in English, how education in Syria sucks, and how blah blah blah, and have you met an ISIS fighter? Yeah, and I have to answer that. Do you look like this in Syria? I have to answer that too. And then come back to the Facebook page to relate with our staffs about education. That's how we live right now on a daily basis. Because I don't want everyone to get depressed, although depression is good sometimes, but I want people to know a lot about something more inspiring, and I want all of us to think how we can move forward. We started it because no one else was doing it, and we stuck in there. We used to be a group of political activists, and we wanted democracy and really big terms. We wanted all the big terms, secular state and democracy and civil society. I got none, but we wanted a lot, we dreamed a lot. And then when we moved into the liberated areas, no one was providing education. The regime obviously thinks that it's his farm, so those who doesn't follow the rules, they don't get education and health, they're gonna be punished. And we tried to contact donors and funds back then, but they don't listen. We are Middle Easterns, we don't know what our needs. They did the need assessment, and the need assessment clearly said it's a food basket. So if Syrians are saying education is a priority, it's not the Syrians' choice. Food baskets mean food baskets. And then after 3 years, Islamists came, thanks God maybe, and they started to control schools. Then everyone wanted to work in education. The reaction was high, and everyone now is working on education. Thanks God. Something good happened from that awful thing. And yeah, we started with one school, and we assumed, like, we heard about UNICEF while growing up. UNICEF gonna come, sure. But no, UNICEF, they need to check their cross-border status and to see how neutral can they work in the opposition areas or not. And we were like children discovering that Santa Claus doesn't exist. and that UNICEF doesn't really support childhood. It supports childhood in the areas that is allowed to support childhood in it. Because our child can't work unless they work with Damascus. So if Damascus says no, they can't work. That's so obvious, the rule, the system. And Syria doesn't get the system. They have a revolution against the system. They didn't know the system back then. And right now we have 7. We started with 1, and now we have 7. We are discussing 15. And unfortunately, I think we are going to have this for a while. So what we do in these schools is trying to create opportunity and try to focus on hope. So because I love BuzzFeed, do you know BuzzFeed? Everyone knows BuzzFeed. I am a big fan of that mainstream media. And so I tried to come up with 10 things you don't know about what we do. So I will start with this. Because there's a lot of Syrian and it's like kind of competitive to tell them things they don't know about. I will start with one of the amazing stories. One of our students left schools for 10 years. She's married, she has 2 children now, and she's back to schools inside Aleppo. Hey, this is a first story, and that's inspiring to us. The UN invited all the children around the world to draw for Disability Day, and we implemented that in our schools. We asked our children to draw for disability, and the pictures that the children draw was amazing. The good thing, we assume they're gonna draw things related to Syria. No, they drew like the sea and some friend taking a child on a chair to see the sea. Third one is we have opinion boxes for the children, so they can say that what they want and what they don't want in the school. Obviously, we believe in the boxes. We assume that boxes are good things. We didn't know that Donald Trump exists when we thought of the boxes. Like boxes doesn't always bring good stuff. And in these boxes, the 4th grade in one school, they gather together and write a statement that they hate a teacher. Because this teacher keeps saying that they are donkeys, and they wrote us this statement, and then we have to take it seriously and sit with the teacher and say, like, what's going on? And it was amazing. That's advocacy, and that's good. The first thing that we maybe don't know, we update our policies, safety policies, on a monthly basis. And in the hardest way, because we discovered that maybe the clock is dangerous. Maybe having a ruler is dangerous in the class. Of course, the triangle is forbidden because it may come in someone's eyes if there is exposure. And we have to update that by experience, and that's the worst thing. And that's when I'm saying that the world didn't have a good reaction. Yeah, some of the things, solution is political, but some of the things should have been thought of with us, like how to create a safe environment. And going to safe environment, what you may don't know, that the UN, OCHA, darling, they send us an email, and they want us to share the location of our schools with the Russian airstrikes. So may and may not, the Russian may or may not respect these locations and not bomb it. And in the end of that rude email, they sent to us that, but we can't promise anything. We can hope. And of course, we didn't share. We don't trust them. For obvious reasons. You can't trust someone who is bombing you. It's not personal. It's kind of tough. 6 things we don't know, that we have now in Syria 7 new children magazines that didn't exist before. We used not to have any children magazines. Now we have 7 children magazines and 1 for teenagers. 7, we refuse to share the teachers' names because UN shared them with Damascus. Also part of the system of international NGOs. And working as a teacher in the liberated areas may get you arrested. So that's why we refuse to share the teacher's name. This is a dangerous information. I should be worried that this is gonna skip to someone a name. Now we are planning to have a disability program inside each school. Syria before the revolution didn't have any program for those with disability. Right now, through that circumstances, we are trying to look about how to have bathrooms for disabled and even roads so they can cross into the school. 9, now we are considering to teach 32 early married brides in their husband's house. So we leave them a chance for a better future. And the 10, and finally, it's because it was hard to find 10 things, I cannot tell you. Only 20% of our teachers taught before. 80% they are teaching because no one else is doing it. And 70% of our staff are women, so when they tell you that Syrian women should learn how to cook and sew, you can tell them that you met that woman who told you that 70% of teachers are women. So cooking and sewing is not the only choice for empowering Syrian women. I think I look so angry and sarcastic on international community programs. Okay, so that's what we do mainly. Hopefully, in the future, we are considering to work a lot. What you can do and what we may think together is, first, whenever someone asks what Syrian needs protection, and protection is a priority. They pledged $10 billion in a conference that I was in like last week, and they celebrated, and like, to me I was like, oh my God, more targets for Russian airstrikes, because they're gonna send the money in, and they're gonna go bomb the money. So for the sake of the money, for the sake of the humanity, for the sake of anything that we believe in, protection is priority. Fund is priority. Yes, we should find creative ways to create even fund for this, for schools, and I will speak on one of our creative experience. And we should re-question the system. What I want, every system, the UN system, the international community response, everything, we should question the system. 300,000 Syrians died. If we don't change the system, that means that's going to happen in Korea, that's going to happen maybe in Algeria. We paid the price. We paid the really high price. So if this high price didn't change the world, it's going to happen again and again and again. After Rwanda, they said never again. And right now we are living with their never again. So it never again happened. Let us change the system. Okay. What about the fund? One of the examples we did on the creating fund is to do a twinning project, which is one school abroad gonna adopt one school inside Syria, and they do crowdfund and send it, and they exchange also postcards, so children in Syria knows that maybe the world didn't left them there to die, and they know that there is a world, that there is outside them this war situation, outside of this drama that they are living. And also we are trying to think long term now, that also these children will know why maybe there is a Syrian next to them in the classroom here, why there is a Syrian cause going on, and what it is that's the future of that country, that it is not a bunch of Middle Eastern fighting with each other because they don't know how to listen to each other. If we did a training and a workshop of listening, oh my God, amazing, they're gonna solve all their problems. So they will know more that the problem maybe it's more political than just negotiation issues. So we did it in Adolphus Limfus in Netherlands. They did a partnership with Mustafa Karaman for 5 years now. So whatever happens, maybe the Americans decide tomorrow not to support Aleppo, this school is going to be running because it's run by people inside Syria and by people inside Netherlands. So to us, if we manage to expand that experience to many, many schools, I think and I believe that the people still have power, no matter how politicians are silly and stupid and urgent, but we still have power. So I think that if we expand that experience, that would be amazing. And that's it for now, and I want to drink water now.